Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into Grade 10, Chapter 4, Thank You, Mom, by Langston Hughes. In this video, we'll walk through all the solved book exercises from pages 55 through 62, breaking down each question step by step. So grab your book. Alright, let's jump into our first exercise. Here's the question from your textbook. Read the story. Thank you, Mom. Identify and write the elements of the story: setting, plot, characters, point of view, theme, and conflict. Pause the video if you need a moment to jot down your own ideas. I'll walk you through each element one by one so you can compare your answers and make sure you've captured everything. So let's start with the setting and plot of the story. Thank you, ma'am. 1. Setting. The story takes place in an urban neighborhood late at night, around 11 o'clock. Most of the events occur on the street and then inside Mrs. Jonas' modest home, specifically in a kitchenette-furnished room. The time period appears to be the mid-20th century, hinted at by the language references. 2. Plot. The plot follows a simple but powerful structure. Beginning, a boy, Roger, tries to steal a purse from a large woman, Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. Rising action, he fails and falls. Instead of calling the police, the woman takes him to her home. Climax, she shows him kindness, feeding him, talking to him, and ultimately giving him money. Falling action, Roger begins to trust her and feels ashamed of his actions. Resolution, she sends him off with money and advice, leaving a lasting impression on him. Next, let's learn about the characters of the story and point of view. 3. Characters. Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones, a strong, compassionate, and wise woman who teaches through empathy rather than punishment, offering Roger both guidance and a transformative moment of grace. Roger, a young, frail boy who learns a lesson about respect and kindness after trying to steal, discovering self-worth and understanding the power of genuine human connection. 4. Point of view. The story is told from a third-person limited point of view, primarily focusing on Roger's perspective, allowing readers to understand his emotions and internal change throughout the story, and to witness his gradual growth and self-reflection. Last, let's understand the theme and conflict of the story. 5. Theme. Key themes include kindness and compassion can transform people, the power of second chances, moral growth and learning right from wrong through human connection. 6. Conflict. External conflict, Roger versus Mrs. Jones, initial struggle after he tries to her purse. Internal conflict, Roger versus himself, his guilt, shame, and moral realization throughout the evening. Give the denotative and connotative meanings of the following pair of words and use them in your own sentences. Thrifty. It means smart and careful with money. Good. Saves wisely. It means my mom is thrifty and finds great deals. Cheap. It means doesn't want to spend money, even when needed. Bad. Doesn't like to spend. He's cheap and didn't buy a birthday. Determined. Keeps trying and never gives up. Good. Shows hard work. She was determined to win the race. Stubborn. Won't change mind even if wrong. Bad. Doesn't listen. He was too stubborn to say he was wrong. Let's learn some more words. Wise. Makes good choices from learning or age. Good. Smart and kind. My grandpa is wise and gives good advice. Cunning. Clever in a sneaky or tricky way. Bad. Sneaky or dishonest. The cunning fox tricked the animals. Frugal. Doesn't waste money or things. Good. Careful and smart. We are only buy what we need. Stingy. Doesn't like to share or spend money. Bad. Selfish. He's stingy and never shares his toys. Confident. Believes in oneself. Good. Strong and positive. She was confident during the school play. Arrogant. Thinks too highly of oneself. Bad. Rude and full of self. He's arrogant and thinks he's better than others. Let's move to page 58, which asks students to read the following sentences and identify the adverbial phrases. Consider the questions they answer: how, when, where, etc., and the role they play in modifying the verbs, adjectives, or adverb. Here we go. Read them slowly and understand them well. 1. She completed the puzzle with great concentration. Adverbial phrase, with great concentration. Question answered: how did she complete the puzzle? Modifies the verb completed. 2. We will meet at the park after sunset. Adverbial phrase, at the park after sunset. Question answer: where and when will we meet? Modifies the verb meet. Here are a few more for you. 3. The students gathered in the library to study for their exams. Adverbial phrase, in the library to study for their exams. Question answered: where and why did they gather? Modifies the verb gathered. 4. He exercises at the gym 3 times a week. Adverbial phrase, at the gym 3 times a week. Question answer: Where and how often does he exercise? Modifies the verb exercises. Let's continue learning. 5. The temperature dropped quite suddenly in the evening. Adverbial phrase, quite suddenly in the evening. Question answered. How and when did it drop? Modifies the verb dropped in the adverb suddenly. 6. They danced with incredible grace at the party. Adverbial phrase, with incredible grace at the party. Question answered. How and where dance? Modifies the verb danced. Here are a few more. 7. The train departed at midnight. Adverbial phrase, at midnight. Question answered. When did the train depart? Modifies the verb departed. 8. She visits her grandparents every summer. Adverbial phrase, every summer. Question answered. When does she visit them? Modifies the verb visit. Last two are here for you. 9. He spoke with a surprisingly loud voice during the presentation. Adverbial phrase, with a surprisingly loud voice during the presentation. Question answered. How and when did he speak? Modifies the verb spoke in the adverb surprisingly. 10. The mountain climbers reached the summit with considerable difficulty. Adverbial phrase, considerable difficulty. Question answered. How did they reach the summit? Modifies the verb reached. Let's move to page 59. Read the following sentences and identify the adverbs. Also mention the type of adverb. 1. A sentence is Javaria confidently answered all the questions during the interview. Adverb, confidently. Type. Adverb of manner, tells how she answered. 1b. She speaks English fluently and practices attentively at the Language Institute. Adverbs, fluently, attentively, every day. Types, fluently. Adverb of manner, how she speaks, attentively. Adverb of manner, how she practices, every day. Adverb of frequency, time, when she practices. Let's continue learning. 2 of the sentences. Layla quickly completed her homework before heading to the library. Adverb, quickly. Type. Adverb of manner, how she completed her homework. To be, she studies diligently and always finishes her assignments on time to relax. Adverbs, diligently, always, on time. Types, diligent. Adverb of manner, how she studies, always. Adverb of frequency, how often she finishes work, on time. Adverb of time, when she finishes her assignments. Lastly, 3 and the sentence is Murtasim patiently waited for his friends at the cafe. Adverb, patiently. Type. Adverb of manner, how he waited. 3b. He usually meets them on Fridays after work for a relaxing evening. Adverbs, usually, on Fridays, after work. Types, usually. Adverb of frequency, how often he meets them, on Fridays. Adverb of time, when he meets them. After work. Adverb of time, when he meets them. Let's move to page 60. Read the passage and identify the gerunds. Life on a farm. The life on a farm is full of interesting activities. Reading by the barn, swimming in the pond, hiking through small hills, horse riding at sunset, farming from dawn till dusk, and cattle rearing with care are some of them. Each task woven into the rhythm of farm life, making every day an adventure under the wide sky. Identified gerunds. 1. Reading by the barn. 2. Swimming in the pond. 3. Hiking through small hills. 4. Riding, horse riding at sunset. 5. Farming, from dawn till dusk. 6. Rearing, cattle rearing with care. 7. Making every day an adventure. Now let's see page 61. Identify and underline the infinitive in each sentence. 1. We decided to visit the museum next weekend. 2. Axis goal is to complete the marathon in a record time. 3. I would like to learn a new language before I turn 30. For the best time to plant a tree is now. 5. Our plan is to travel to Makkah next summer. 6. I need to finish my homework dinner. 7. Hazen hopes to become a successful entrepreneur. 8. It is essential to exercise regularly for good health. 9. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss upcoming projects. 10. Atika promised to help the community center with fundraising. Let's move to page 62. For our next activity, choose one character, either the boy or Mrs. Jones, and write a detailed character analysis. Explore their motivations, actions, and the impact of their encounter on each other. Look at the format below for ideas. So let's start. Character analysis of Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. Appearance and first impression. Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones is described as a large, strong woman who carries a big purse that has everything in it, except a hammer and nails. When Roger tries to snatch her purse, she reacts quickly and powerfully. Strength and confidence are clear from the beginning of the story, and she immediately takes control of the situation. Personality and values. Although she is tough and doesn't tolerate disrespect, Mrs. Jones also shows kindness and understanding. She doesn't call the police or scold Roger harshly. Instead, she chooses to take him home, wash his face, feed him dinner, talk to him calmly, This shows that she believes in teaching right from wrong through care, not fear. She is wise, patient, and compassionate. Let's continue. Actions and decisions. Mrs. Jones surprises Roger by treating him with trust. She leaves her purse out in the open and doesn't watch him while he eats. This shows that she wants to give him a chance to do the right thing. She even gives him $10 to buy the blue suede shoes he wanted. Her decision to help instead of punish shows her belief in second chances and positive influence. Impact on the story and Roger. Mrs. Jones plays the most important role in the story. Her actions not only stop a crime but also change Roger's attitude. By the end, Roger is so touched by her kindness that he can't even say, "Thank you," properly. He learns about respect, trust, and dignity, all because of one woman's choice to show kindness.
So here comes the last activity of this chapter. Be argumentative essay. The power of kindness. Mrs. Jones chooses to treat Roger with kindness instead of punishment. Do you think kindness is more effective than punishment in changing a person's behavior? Write an argumentative essay supporting your opinion. The power of kindness. In the short story Thank You, Ma'am by Langston Hughes, Mrs. Jones makes a powerful choice. Instead of punishing Roger for trying to steal her purse, she shows him kindness. This simple act raises an important question: is kindness more effective than punishment in changing a person's behavior? I strongly believe that kindness is more powerful than punishment because it builds trust, encourages reflection, and promotes long-lasting change. First, kindness helps build trust and emotional connection. When someone is treated with kindness, they feel valued and respected, even after making a mistake. In the story, Roger expects Mrs. Jones to call the police, but instead she brings him home, feeds him, and talks to him. This surprises Roger and creates a sense of trust. He stays instead of running away, which shows that kindness can make someone more willing to listen and change. Let's continue from the previous page. Second, kindness encourages people to reflect on their actions. Punishment often causes fear or anger, but kindness gives a person the chance to think about what they did and why it was wrong. When Mrs. Jones talks to Roger, she doesn't shout or hit him. She shares her own experiences and teaches him a lesson. This approach helps Roger understand the value of honesty and dignity in a way that punishment could not. Finally, kindness leads to long-term change, while punishment may only cause temporary obedience. People who are punished may avoid doing wrong again out of fear, but they don't always learn why they should change. Kindness, on the other hand, touches the heart. Roger is clearly moved by Mrs. Jones's actions and likely remembers her lesson for the rest of his life. In conclusion, kindness is a more effective tool than punishment when it comes to changing behavior. It builds trust, encourages reflection, and leads to genuine personal growth. Like Mrs. Jones, if we choose to respond with compassion instead of anger, we may help someone become a better person.
I hope you found this video helpful and easy to understand. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like the video, share it with your classmates, subscribe to my channel for more educational content. See you in the next lesson.